Hey everyone, welcome to the another video, and in this one we are going to see how we can host a WordPress website using Caddy server on Ubuntu. Yeah, that's great. First thing first, we need to make sure that we have the Ubuntu server. So let me show you that I have already created server on DigitalOcean. You can create on anywhere like AWS, Linode, Google, GCP, Hasna, whatever. Make sure that you are using the Ubuntu 22.0 for which is the LTS version. And let's copy IP address and let's get started without wasting time. Let's open the terminal, make it a little bit bigger, SSH root, and paste the IP address. Make sure you have the password. Once you enter the password, you will be inside the server. And so once you are inside the server, two things are mandatory, which is apt update and colon apt upgrade. So first we'll update the all of the packages on this server, and next thing will command will be upgrading all of the packages on this server to the latest version. And this is the compulsory step you should follow. So once it is done, let's clear everything. For me it's already there updated, that's why it is taking so much minimum time, but for you it can be little bit like close to 1 minute to 2 minutes depending on your server speed, right? So next thing we need to do is we need to create the uh, create the obvious thing, which is the create the files for the website. So I'm going to make the directory called /var/ww. So in my case I think it was already there, so let me just go here and do ls. So okay, it's there. And next thing we need to do is need to change the some permissions for that particular directory. This is the directory where we will be putting our WordPress files. Okay, so once that is done, we need to get the WordPress file, the latest WordPress file. So hit this particular command, it should fetch the zip file of the WordPress. Then it should put that zip file in the www directory, which is current directory I'm in, and it is extracting. So if I do ls the WordPress, as you can see all files are there. Okay, so we got the WordPress file. Next thing, we need to install some PHP packages. Okay, so these are the list of the PHP packages. Don't worry, all of these commands are in the blog. You can just find the link in the description and you are ready to go. You can just copy that particular command from there. So once these all of these packages are installed, you should have MySQL installed, all necessary PHP plugins installed. Everything will be ready. What you need to do is just make sure you are creating the right database and making some configuration changes, and you will be ready to go. Okay, so let's wait for some time until this process is done. Okay, so as you can see, the process is done. Let me just clear this screen. Okay, let me just clear this screen. And once that is done, I need to switch to the MySQL. So I will use MySQL-u root. So if you have already set the password for MySQL, it should ask the password first. Then we need to create the database. So in my case, I will name the database WordPress. Then we need to create the user with the password. So this is the command right here. Here I will add really strong password, which is wp admin123. It's a strong password, right? And the user we are trying to create right here, which is WordPress. The username is also WordPress right here, as you can see. So you can change by yourself, by whatever you want. So next thing we need to do is we need to set some the permissions to the user, and then we need to flush the privileges using this particular command, and then we will quit, simply the quit from the database. So once it is done, next thing we need to do is we need to start the SQL service, which is already started. So I will just execute that command anyway, because for some people if it is not there, it should be there. Right now we are inside the www folder, and if I do ls, the WordPress is there. So go to the WordPress, inside the WordPress do ls, and find wp config file. So this is the sample of the wp config. So let's copy this sample into actual wp config file, so that we can use this wp config file to set the configuration. Hit enter, the file should be created. Hit nano and enter the file name, and as you can see, it is asking for database name. you already know that what database name we use. We use the database name WordPress, and our username was also WordPress, right? And our password was WP admin 123 if I remember correctly, right? So WP admin 123, that was our password. So yeah, pretty much all things are done. Okay, so there is one more thing in the configuration we need to update. So these are the unique slug fields. Okay, so here you need to make sure that you are adding really unique in each place. So for me, I can just type anything, but for you, if you are doing like proper deployment something, you should go with all of these. Okay, so I'm not going to change all of these. It is taking time, too much time. So I will just make sure that it's already there. I control S, control X to save and exit, but make sure that you are changing those. Okay, so once that is done, next thing we need to do is we need to get the Caddy configuration. So let's do cd and do nano. Okay, so first we need to install Caddy. How can you forget that? So for this you need to do curl firefly.in slash caddy, and then you need to do, sorry, before the curl there is a tag ls, and then we need to pipe this into bash dash, right? So if you are using AWS, then make sure that you are adding sudo here. Okay, if you hit enter, that command should install the Caddy, but for me it's already there, that's why it is saying override. I will just hit Ctrl C, but make sure that you are installing Caddy. Next thing we need to do is nano slash etc slash Caddy. So this is the standard configuration file for Caddy. As you can see, this is the default configuration. We need to put our own configuration right here. So let me just go ahead, paste it right here. And as you can see, it is asking for domain name because I am hosting domain name. If you are hosting on IP address, make sure that you are entering something like this port 80 colon 80. But make sure you are removing this one and then entering the port 80 right here. So for me, I will just use the my domain name. So before adding the domain name, let me go to my DNS provider. This is my DNS provider, and as you can see, I have already created record for subdomain name. You can host on domain name, but I am recording too much tutorials. That's why I'm going to host on subdomain name. So this is the right IP address. This is the expired IP address. It doesn't exist anymore. So let me just save this particular record. And once it is saved, I will just open another terminal and I will just execute dig. Okay, so dig wp.1yt.in, and I will check the IP address. So 139.225. Great, that's the my server IP. So that means the IP DNS is also updated. So let me go ahead and let's enter the domain name here, or subdomain name here, 1yt.in. So this is my subdomain name. Control S to save it. Here also you need to add your domain name to this is basically name of the log directory. It doesn't necessarily need a domain name here, but to make things simple, I'm going to do it. So let me enter my mail. Make sure you are entering the right email address because it is necessary to do it. Because if there is any issue with the SSL or something, it will give you the email. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's do Control S, then Control X, and then we need to restart the Caddy service. So service Caddy restart, that should be command to do it. And if you do status here, it should show the running. Okay, so let's go ahead and open the browser, open new tab and type wp.1yt.in, and that should show our WordPress website installer. Great. So this is how, ladies and gentlemen, you can host the WordPress. So hence we are using Caddy. We have the one benefit that all websites come with the automatic SSL, which is HTTPS. Right here in the corner it will say this connection is secure, right? So this is how you can host the WordPress website on Caddy server. If you have any question, so right now I have created the blog for this one also. There are some mistakes in the blog, but if you compare the blog with the video, these minor mistakes you will identify easily, like this, right? So yeah, that's all. This is how you can host the WordPress website on Caddy server. If you have any additional question, do let me know in the comment. And yeah, thanks for watching. See you in the next.